Okay. All right. So hi guys, welcome to another Huobi Live. And today we have John and Robert from Alchemy Pay. Did I say the name right? Alchemy Pay, right?
Got it
Is that
right.
how you...
Yeah.
All right. So maybe John and Robert, maybe you could give us some introduction about yourselves and a little background so that everybody knows who you are and what you guys do. So maybe we can start with John.
Okay, sure. Hi everyone. Thanks for first off, Jorden, thanks for having us on your show. And hi to everybody. My name is John. I'm the CEO of Alchemy Pay. I've been with the company since its very early days, since 2019. Prior to joining Alchemy Pay, I was in the capital markets. I was in the capital market and traditional finance for around 10 years. And in 2015, 2016, I started dabbling with cryptocurrencies, and coming from the finance space, that really piqued my interest. Cryptocurrency really piqued my interest, and that was when we started looking into how cryptocurrency can play a role in the payment industry, and that's how I joined Alchemy Pay.
Yeah, and hello everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much, Huobi, for having us today. So I was similar to John. I was became interested, started investing in crypto, Bitcoin, quite a few years ago. And then over the last couple of years was working in consultancy for a number of different blockchain, mainly DeFi projects. And last year I was working a lot with Alchemy Pay. And then towards the end of last year, actually came on board full-time with them as their ecosystem lead. So it's been onwards and upwards ever since, I think. Yeah. So looking forward to chatting today.
Right. Thanks so much for the great introduction. So I think everybody here has a little bit of knowledge on crypto as well. And I guess that people who are watching will probably be interested in what are the new technologies that are going to come up as well. So maybe John, can you explain a little bit about what Alchemy Pay does, the problems it solves, and why was it founded in the first place?
I think the best way to answer this question would be to straightaway dive into what our mission is. Our mission is really to promote the global adoption of cryptocurrency by bridging the fiat and crypto global economies. Right. So what we believe is that in order for cryptocurrency to be adopted, it must be practical and it must be mainstream friendly. What I mean by that is, practicality. It must bring value to our users, and mainstream friendly, meaning that it must be easy to use. I think this mainstream friendly is particularly important because I think today, just by through investing or getting our hands into NFTs is really quite challenging, right? So today, our fiat and crypto gateways enable low-cost modern payments, low-cost modern crypto payments and fiat payments, as well as effortless access to crypto and Web3 services. Now, flashback to 2018, that was when we really first started. And that was when we would just focus on payments. The founders, who are all veterans from the payments industry, from the likes of PayPal, HSBC, MasterCard, and myself from DBS, we were well aware of the weakness of the legacy payment system. Some example of these weaknesses include high fees, slow settlement, and high chargeback rates, right? And I think that was when we began to explore the potential of the payment industry, right? The role of crypto in the payment industry, because a lot of these issues that I mentioned earlier was due to the high number of middlemen in between, and crypto just has this capability to disintermediate, right? So I think that was in 2019. That was when we developed and launched our hybrid payment system. Basically, this is just one payment system that can accept both fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies. And we launched that service in Singapore and Hong Kong, and today we are already in 7 countries worldwide. And today, I think we're already more than just a payment company, right? So previously, we focused on getting crypto into fiat world, so helping crypto holders convert their crypto assets into fiat money, so they can access the real world's products and services. Today, conversely, we're helping fiat holders move their fiat money into crypto assets so that they could access, whether it's crypto investment or help them access DeFi services, NFTs, metaverses, and things like that.
Right. So I think that you covered quite a few good points. I think payments is one of the biggest thing in the world, right? Just before this, when live, we were talking about how payments have evolved. Like last time, people in China were using cash, but now everyone's going like cashless. You're just using an app to pay, or you're using a card to pay for something. So maybe we can talk a little bit about the hybrid fiat to crypto acceptance system. I think that is something very interesting because right now there are other players in the payment system as well, but they are mostly like if you are paying with like for example crypto.com, right? You have to top up your card to be able to use that to pay for things in the store, and you have to go through a master system. If not, there is no other system that can accept that kind of payment. So in terms of like the fees that that Alchemy have, the settlement time, and most importantly, like how do you control the volatility? Because I think that is one of the biggest thing in the crypto space, where people are very afraid of volatility because Bitcoin can be 50K now, and by the time this life is done, it could be 60K, or it could go even to 100K, right? We never know. So how do you guys manage all these at the same time with the hybrid payment system?
Okay. So diving back to what I mentioned earlier, driving the mainstream adoption of our solutions and cryptocurrencies in general, right? It is our belief that there's a slow payment adoption, and it's largely due to lack of merchants accepting crypto, right? So our hybrid system not only makes it easy for them to accept crypto, but also more importantly, bring business value to the enterprise clients that we're working with. So let's talk about this business value, right? I think in order for us to talk about business value, first, let's look into the current business challenges that businesses face when it comes to payments. Number one, I think we could break it down into two main parts. Number one would be transaction fees. Currently, businesses are paying between 2% to 3.5% for a card transactions, and many a times in developing countries they are paying between 5 to 8%, right? And for settlement time, they typically, after a card transaction, they typically have to wait up to 1 to 2 weeks before they receive their money. And for newer merchants, it's even worse, right? They have to pay 10% of all their transactions into what we call this the chargeback reserve pool. Basically, it is a pool that is mandated by either payment companies or the card schemes to protect consumers in the case of chargeback or refunds, to ensure that this merchant actually have the money to pay these funds back, right? This two problems that I just mentioned is very evident because just look, 2 months ago, Amazon actually threatened to ban all Visa transactions due to these issues, right? Now, so and I also mentioned earlier, all of these problems are actually caused by a large number of intermediaries in between, right? If you look at Visa and MasterCard, these transactions, as a consumer, it may look very simple, but in actual fact, behind the scenes, you have the card issuers, right? Whether is it the banks issuing these cards, below them they have agents selling the cards. They have to fund the rebates. They have to fund So I'll call it the rebates because actually at the end of the day, consumers are the one paying for them. And on the other hand, you have the merchant acquirers, the payment processors and the PSPs. There are a lot of middlemen in between. So when a card is swiped or a card is used for online transaction, everybody in this entire supply chain takes a cut out of it. So that's why it's so expensive and it's very slow for settlement, right? So, and I also mentioned to you how crypto and blockchain's natural ability to disintermediate would be a good way to solve all this problem. So why is crypto payments not still widely used? I think if you look at today, right, or even 3 years ago, many of those crypto payment companies, they just solely focus on crypto payments. As you mentioned, crypto.com, you have to top funds back into that platform, and they can only do transactions, crypto transactions. For instance, crypto.com Pay, they can only do crypto transactions. And if you look at BitPay, for instance, they only do Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just a few other cryptocurrencies, right? And whether it's an offline merchant or online merchant, they tend to not want to adopt a whole new payment system, right? So let's talk about offline merchant first. If you step into a restaurant, you may really realize that they have multiple payment terminal, one for Visa and MasterCard, one for Amex, one for let's say a local mobile wallet, and another one for another local mobile wallet. So they really have 4 payment terminals. It's cluttering up their online their counter space. Right now, if you were to tell them, hey, I can help you accept Bitcoin and you have to take this new payment system. First, they don't understand it, right? They are really wary of using this new payment system. Next, they have to train their staff to use it, and it's just too much of hassle, right? But however, if you can provide them with one all-in-one payment system, whether it's an API or payment terminal or an SDK, they can just use one of it to accept a variety of mainstream fiat payments, cards, mobile wallets, even bank transfers, plus crypto assets. That's when they will be more willing to consider using this payment system. And that's the reason why we had to develop the world's first hybrid crypto and fiat payment system. So hope maybe by explaining it this way, you can understand why that was it for us to create this hybrid payment system. And now going back to answering your question, crypto being too volatile, that just, and also at the same time there's so many cryptocurrencies to accept. Which one to accept, right? What Alchemy Pay provide, is that all-in-one system I mentioned earlier. We also do fiat settlement. What this means is merchant will still accept a particular pay. Let's say it's for a cup of coffee. Let's say it's $5, right? Alchemy Pay will calculate in real time what is the amount of Bitcoin or Ethereum or other crypto assets to accept, and we will settle to the merchant $5, right? So they do not have to worry about the volatility of the crypto assets, and they will receive the local fiat currency that they operate with. And more importantly, we charge only 1% fee to the merchants as opposed to the 3.5% I mentioned earlier. We settle to the merchants in 1 to 2 days instead of 7 to 14 days, and we ensure that there's no chargeback. And the reason why we are able to provide this solution is really leveraging the experience that we have in the last 3-4 years that we are in the crypto payment industry, but more importantly, the founding team members' decades of experience in this in the payments and finance industry by providing the network. So today, the reason why we can provide all this solution is leveraging our partnerships in both the crypto and the mainstream world. We are partnering up with the world's top exchanges, Binance, and OTCs around the world, as well as remittance company around the world. These partnerships are the reason why we are able to provide the solutions we are providing today.
Right. So I do agree with a few things you say, right? So like when we go to a restaurant, sometimes we see like, so I'm based in Singapore. So most of the things I see in Singapore is that you have a NETS machine, you have another genetical machine that accepts Visa, one for Amex, and then they have the Food Pandas, they have the GrabPay. Yeah, so sometimes it's a really big hassle. And I do agree that if I'm a restaurant owner, I have to accept something new. No matter how supportive of crypto I am, and I look at my counter and my staff has no space to work, I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Let's just move on with this. We just go on with what we have. So now as we talk about merchants, right? So like you said, I think you mentioned earlier that there are some users of Alchemy Pay in Singapore. Are those merchants right now, or are they like consumers as well, or is it a mix of both?
No, that's a good question. So in Singapore, we do really have merchants. So that's where we started. So in Singapore and Hong Kong was where we first started. And what we typically do when we enter a market is we do not go to every merchant door by door knocking on the door and say that, hey, do you want to start accepting cryptocurrencies, right? What we do is we focus on partnering those merchant networks. And by merchant networks, I mean payment companies, as well as, let's say, e-commerce platforms, because they really have a lot of merchants under their wing, right? So payment company may really have 5,000 merchants or even 100,000 merchants, right, for a big payment company, right? When we first entered Singapore, what we did was to work with a local payment company that is really providing mobile wallet payments. And what we did was to integrate with them to provide them with, let's say, card plus cryptocurrency acceptance. And this is how we operate. And this is what we call the top-down approach, where we target only those players with a lot of merchants ready. And we believe that this strategy is the best way for us to spread the use of cryptocurrency for payments in the shortest time possible. And at the same time, it also so to take a step back, another challenge for cryptocurrency payments would really be the regulations, right? We have to get merchant acquiring license or domestic transfer license. So there are a lot of licenses you require when you do merchant acquiring and providing payment services, right? These payment companies that we are working with, or these platforms that we're working with, they already have the licenses necessary to provide to acquire merchants, right? This would allow us to enter a market without having to worry about building a compliance team, building a legal team to get a necessary licenses. So for us to acquire potential merchants across the globe, we target payment companies and other merchant networks.
Right. So some of the examples I think will be like people like Spotify. Will that be one of your partners that you work with to acquire new merchants? Are those considered network?
It will be Shopify. So Shopify is one.
Oh, Shopify. Sorry.
It will be Shopify that has a lot of merchants, and so I think a lot of our community members, they are looking forward to this Shopify partnership that we mentioned. So previously we have been working with Shopify on through a payment company partner, and today we are trying to sign a deal directly with them. Things have been moving slightly slower than expected, but we are actually meeting up with Shopify in just a couple of days. I believe it's 1 to 2 weeks time in Miami Bitcoin 2022 event.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Our BD team in North America will be meeting up with Shopify's team to figure out how we can actually expedite this process to see how we can begin to provide all their merchants with our crypto acceptance capabilities, including Binance Pay and Crypto.com Pay.
Oh, nice. Okay, so let's talk to Robert a bit. I think Robert has been waiting on the sidelines for quite a while.
Okay.
So Robert, what are some challenges? So I think you mentioned that you actually consult and you help out quite a few projects as well. So what do you see as a challenge for cryptocurrencies in the current times, and why is Alchemy Pay necessary for crypto payments and crypto adoption?
Okay, I think you cut out a little bit there, but I got the question. So just maybe to take on from what John was talking about, the idea of crypto, being able to spend crypto in the real world on real world goods and services. Obviously, this has been a big issue. We call them cryptocurrencies, but still, for most people, they're instruments of investment rather than actually currencies. And I think that's, that is a huge challenge. And I don't think, I think for us to have really worldwide global adoption on a big scale, people want to see that cryptocurrency can be used for payments, and this is something that is a challenge, but obviously for us, we provide the solution to that challenge. So for us, that challenge is actually a good thing because it gives us a place in the market, if we say that it's due to the lack of merchants who want to accept crypto, then obviously we believe our system is going to make it much more appealing, much more attractive to them, and it makes it very easy for them. The idea that they don't even need to hold cryptocurrency, that they get paid out in fiat, really makes it much almost a no-brainer for them. And the transaction costs, the fees they'll save, I think works. So that kind of challenge of not being able to use crypto in the real world. Obviously, you've got crypto-linked cards. We were talking earlier about Crypto.com's card. We're bringing those out as well. We have those, already functioning at the moment, but we're going to sort of bring them out in a bigger way at a later on. I think also the idea that it's not easy for everyday users to get involved when they first get into crypto. They might be interested in, buying an NFT, but it's difficult even for them at that stage to, the number of steps that's required to buy Ethereum, let's say, it's already too complex and maybe intimidating. We have to think beyond just what's working for blockchain developers, but what's working for everyday people. So I think this is one of the challenges, is maybe the focus has not been enough in the past on practical solutions in terms of how to enter crypto, how to spend crypto. And this is really what we're doing, is we're providing very real, functional, practical systems that are also mainstream friendly. The idea that we cut out so many of the steps, that you don't need to go to an exchange, decide what trading pair you're going to make your purchase with, then transfer that to a Web3 wallet. We're trying to cut out as many steps as possible. That's also, we'll talk about the crypto on-ramps we're providing. So, the idea that it's not easy for everyday users, the idea that it's not easy to spend crypto, these are definitely challenges, but of course, these are challenges that we're solving. So for us, it's an advantage. John talked about the idea of regulations. I think, the regulatory landscape across the world is just so varied, so different. And in terms of crypto, just changing so quickly all the time, and things are developing. You hear one thing about one region and then you hear the opposite thing from the government the next week, so it's quite difficult to plan. And I think a lot of times it takes a lot of patience in that regard. The other thing as well, again, which I think is actually an advantage for us, crypto is viewed as high risk by traditional finance. So, this for us is where we step in to connect up traditional finance with crypto services, with Web3 services, with blockchain networks. And I think, the fact that we're knowledgeable, experienced in the space, and we take on that risk, in the end, that challenge becomes an advantage for us. So, quite a few challenges, but for us, this is our place in the market, solving those challenges.
Right. So I think that's the value you bring to the industry as well. So when you talk about regulation, I think that really hit home because recently Biden just signed an executive an order, and then Malaysia wanting to legalize cryptocurrency as a legal tender. And then in Singapore itself, we have like the finance minister stepping out and saying, we are going to tax you on NFTs, right? So all these regulations are coming left, right, center, everywhere. I think that is one of the biggest challenges for everyone in this space. So let's talk about the crypto scene in your industry, right? So what else is developing? I think NFTs are probably the hottest thing right now with Bored Ape Yacht Club launching their own DAOs, launching their own metaverse. What other major trends are you going to are you foreseeing that it's going to unfold in the next couple of years, or maybe in the next 5 years or 3 years? So what do you see that is going to unfold soon?
Well, okay, so maybe if we start with something that's sort of really directly related to us, I do see, obviously any kind of increase in crypto adoption is going to benefit us in the industry. I think, when we started out in 2018, this was a very fringe industry. And now, we're seeing it cross over into the mainstream. We know it's in the headlines. We know people are interested. I mean, when we talk about people wanting to use crypto for payments, exactly as you said, we're hearing about that in all different countries, all different regions around the world, different governments looking into the regulation behind it, the landscape constantly changing. But I mean, even when you look at Visa, how Visa has really sort of, I wouldn't say gone all in, but it's really enthusiastic about the possibilities of crypto. They had a survey that they did at the end of last year. Maybe you saw it, it came out in January. They were saying that, so they'd surveyed, I can't remember how many merchants in how many different countries, but they found that 24% of small businesses wanted to accept crypto payments in 2022. And that's in 2022. If you take that a couple of years further, of course, I can only see that growing really. So it does feel to me like in terms of trends, crypto payments is something that's coming towards us now, whereas maybe we were offering something that seemed fringe, our solutions before. Now I think the world is shifting in our direction, and it's coming to us and the demand is coming to us. So, the solutions we've had in place that we've been working on, really the sort of global landscape for crypto is now really suiting us. And so I think that's a great thing. And I can see that only sort of improving as the coming years go by. So as you said, NFTs, of course, massive, absolutely massive. And, again, that's happened very fast. So, the first NFT created 2014, 2021, $25 billion worth of sales of NFTs. I mean, it's become a huge industry, and, obviously endless sort of naysayers saying, when will the bubble burst? But I think it'll just be a case of new applications for NFTs, some of which maybe we can't even sort of imagine at this stage. Sometimes with technology, it's the different applications that maybe you weren't expecting that become the big thing eventually. You know, obviously we're into the idea of collectibles at the moment, but really talking a lot about Web3 and how it's going to benefit the creator economy, and NFTs really are integral to that. We've also seen, you know, play to earn games like Axie Infinity has shown that model works, you know, that model will work and that it is popular with everyday people. You know, so I think that's a huge thing. Then, of course, I mean, sort of goes without saying, metaverse. You know, the metaverse is a huge thing. You know, and I think, you know, we want to see it being built on blockchain rails. You know, for sure, and we want to see that real open, permissive, you know, censorship resistant expansion of the metaverse. These multiverses working on multiple different blockchains. But then, of course, I think there's a case that we can say that with Mark Zuckerberg sort of throwing his hat into the ring, we know that big corporations are also going to pick up on this as well. So I think that's a really interesting area, because we don't know quite who's going to be in control of this and just how much freedom we're going to have and how much popularity blockchain will have. But for us, I mean, we're always looking at, you know, every new movement in blockchain, in crypto. You know, for us, we're about providing, you know, very easy access for newcomers, people who are not experts in the space. So any kind of movement for us, any kind of trend is something that we can be part of. But I mean, obviously, things like NFTs and the metaverse, this is also fun. You know, there are fun ways for us to be involved as well. You know, so you know, whether that's just brand awareness or whether that's sponsorships, anything like that. I mean, there are fun ways for us to be involved, as well as providing our solutions in those cases as well. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned about Axie Infinity. So I do have a few teams as well. It's something that I think really caught me off guard, because I never thought that I would want to invest into NFTs, because I always feel that, like you said, it might be a bubble, it might not, because technically I'm just buying a little monster, right? Like a little JPEG. I got no idea what it does, but I think it has helped a lot of people in the Philippines, where they are able to you know, play a game on their mobile phone and still earn a decent living during the last 2 years, because the last 2 years was really bad for everyone, I think, especially those in Southeast Asia, those third world countries or developing countries. Those countries are struggling really, really bad. So I think
I do think that's the incredible thing about crypto and blockchain, is that it really levels the playing field. Like, there's no reason why you know, Axie Infinity couldn't have picked up in other countries, but of course there's an advantage that suddenly people in Asia are on a kind of a level playing field with people in any country in the world. You know, it is a global thing that allows access for people no matter where they are in the globe, and I think that's, you know, a really exciting aspect of crypto, you know, the borderless nature of it. And it's going to be more advantageous really to people of developing nations, or, you know, if it turns into the sort of utopia that we hope it will be, if it turns into the really positive changes for the world that we hope it will, or for the financial world that we hope it will, then yeah, it's really going to be a huge boost for people in developing nations, for sure.
Right. So John, let's talk a little bit about the new crypto on ramps that you have coming in, and some of the solutions that Alchemy Pay provides that makes it easier for new users wanting to enter crypto and Web3 services. Because we do, I personally do have friends who knows that I'm doing crypto, and I told them, you know, if you want to get your money into crypto, there's a few different steps you have to jump through, or a few little hoops that you have to go through. And to them, as lay people, they're like, oh my God, no, I got to do this. I need this account. I need this account. I need this account to get my money in. And then if I'm going to cash out, it's going to be the whole thing again. Like, you know what, maybe I won't buy crypto at all. It's too many hoops. So are there solutions that Alchemy Pay has to actually get things easier? Because we talk a lot about accessibility, making things easy for people to adopt crypto as well.
Right. Okay. I think that's a really good point and a very exciting topic to talk about, you know, basically Web3 services. I think earlier you guys were talking about Axie Infinity, and Rob was also mentioning about leveling the playing field, right? So I think that, you know, the truth is, in Web3 services, maybe some are useful to the mainstream audience. Some may not be, right? You're just talking about, you know, buying NFTs. Personally, I think that some of them could really change life, for content creators, for instance, right? But at Alchemy Pay, our role is not to really determine whether what decentralized service is good and what is not. Our role is really to make it easier to access these services, right? You mentioned earlier, your friends are asking you how do you invest into cryptocurrencies. I remember, years ago when I first tried to buy into crypto assets, I had SGD. I was thinking, wait, I can buy Bitcoin with USDT. I can buy Bitcoin with Ethereum. How do I buy with SGD, right? That really is multiple hoops. To
Yep.
first begin to buy, you must find the exchange, find the best one that has SGD, which one is reliable. Just way too many roadblocks. Much less, right? Let's say today you want to buy an NFT, you have to first have Ethereum, or you must have let's say a BNB for you to purchase this NFTs, right? Beyond NFT platforms, there's also I think one example I love to use is today DeFi. Talking about DeFi, you probably, if you have USD, you can get interest of around 5% all the way up to 12%, right? Why are people still keeping their US dollars in their bank accounts where they're getting 0.05% if they're lucky? Why are they doing that, right? One simple answer would be they they don't know that it exists, of course. The second thing is they do not know how to convert their stable coins into their fiat USD into USDT for them to start earning this interest rate. So Alchemy Pay's role is to really bridge this gap. So we're always calling ourselves the bridge between the crypto and fiat economies, because we are here to bridge the gap, right? So the crypto on-ramp that we are coming up with is really to leverage whatever infrastructure that we have really built in the past, our network that we have built in the past 10 years, and as well as the partnerships that we really struck. So what this means is we are able to help consumers, mainstream audiences, pay with their cards, whether it's credit cards, debit cards, or their local fiat mobile wallets or bank transfers. We are able to help them accept this money, bring these funds onto crypto exchanges, convert it into the crypto assets that they want to buy, and send it to the address that they want to. So imagine this: I'm a new user moving on to a DeFi platform, right? And I want to start staking, let's say BTC, right? I want to start staking crypto assets, a particular crypto asset. But first, I only have my card. So Alchemy Pay could be working together with this DeFi platform, or the crypto wallet that is being linked to this crypto exchange, and provide our on-ramp service. And these users, whether is it working through directly with the crypto platform to get the funds sent to their crypto wallet, or working with the crypto wallet to top up the funds into their wallet address, and then this user can begin to interact with the world of Web3, right? And this service, we are very excited to share with our committee members and everyone out there. Basically, that in about two months time or so, our website, we would have new website, and we will have this plugin. Basically, anybody can go to the website. They can choose to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, ACH token, or any other crypto assets out there, mainstream cryptocurrency assets out there, with their credit cards, with even local payment channels such as for instance in Indonesia, there's numerous mobile wallets. We can support OVO, Dana, GoPay. In Mexico, they have mobile wallets as well. We are able to support all these kind of local payment methods, because we want to ensure that not only card holders, those that are banked, are able to use their credit card to purchase crypto assets. We also want to ensure those that are unbanked around the world are able to access these services to level the playing field, as Rob mentioned.
Right. So I think you touched on a very good thing about the bank and the unbanked, because I think sometimes like for me in Singapore, we don't really think about things like that happen outside of the world, right? Like I was introduced to the term unbanked. I'm like, how can someone not have a bank account? Like it's like impossible. And then when you start talking to other people from different parts of the world, and then you realize that, hey, you know what? Actually, not everyone has a card. Not everyone has a bank account. Some of them, they just have an e-wallet. And that is where I think the Web3, the DeFi, the metaverse will all come into play. Will all come into play. So Robert, let's talk about some of the advantages that Alchemy Pay has in the area of cryptocurrency payments, because we do know that there are other players out there. But what are some of the advantages that Alchemy Pay has?
Yeah. So I think we really just we have a very complete network of partners. We are a payment network, and that really is about building connections, building partnerships. And yeah, I mean, every partnership is slow, needs due diligence. It takes time to put together. But we've got over 300 payment rails now, fiat payment rails, and these are all across the globe, for mobile wallet payments, for bank transfers, for big global fiat payment providers, of course. So huge network of partners. But that's, John sort of mentioned a little bit of global remittance partners, payment partners, OTC and crypto exchanges, then of course actual blockchain networks and developers. So we really have a huge network that allows us to work in so many regions around the world. The fact that we are partnered with so many big payment providers is because we've come from this traditional financial background. The team originally came from fintech, fintech payments. So, we have an advantage there, I think. And the work we're doing has been made possible by creating these partnerships. And we do have, a huge comprehensive ecosystem now. So we've got that part in traditional finance, but then equally, we've been working in the industry since 2018. We have a lot of partnerships, a lot of integrations with big blockchain networks. So towards the end of last year, we integrated our payment rails. We will be working with them as well with our on-ramps. We're talking about Polygon, Algorand, Avalanche, Nia. Binance obviously selected us as their partner to drive the Binance Pay wallet. So we're very much, connected to traditional finance, but we're also very much deeply involved with, the leading players in crypto. So I think that's put us in a really big position. And if you think like our solution, so the crypto acceptance solution that we're providing for merchants, that first was launched in 2019. So we've actually been around, a long time. These are established solutions, and people see that, the actual merchant payment acceptance that now has touch points with 2 million merchants in 70 countries. So we are established. And then I think as well, maybe more than that, is the idea that we've focused on what people are using and what people need. So we've talked actually a few times already about mobile wallets, but when we're talking about those payment rails, we're also talking about the idea of very popular local mobile wallets that maybe people wouldn't know in other countries. So something like Gcash, I think Indonesia, Gcash is huge in Indonesia.
Philippines, yes.
Sorry, John?
Gcash is in Philippines.
Philippines, yeah. So I mean, these are huge mainstream payment methods, and we are really focused on trying to get as many of those for people as possible. And the other thing is with the mobile wallets, these tend to be more popular in developing nations. Okay, which is kind of what we talked about, the idea that these people find it hard to do traditional banking, to be accepted by traditional banks, to have bank accounts. So mobile wallets provide a much easier access for them. And also, if we look at sort of crypto adoption rates, we see, developing nations are the ones who are actually seeing a real world reason for crypto to exist. So I think that's huge. So we're seeing, we're focused on making sure that the people who want to use crypto, the people whose lives will benefit from using crypto, are the ones who are also able to access it. And I think we've put more focus on mobile wallets perhaps than any of other competitors. So I think that's a big thing as well. Regulations. I think John did talk about the idea that we put a lot of focus again on making sure we're compliant wherever we're operating, and we do that via our partnerships. So this is a huge thing. Having advantages in the payment space is great, and of course we want to be at the top of the pile, but we don't just see all these other crypto payment providers as competitors. We see them more as peers, and the idea that actually, each one of these projects is focused on something that has a slightly different focus, maybe has a different region they're focusing on. Every one of these companies is doing something a little bit different. Plus, in the end, this is a massively expanding market, and there's market share enough for so many different payment providers in this space as well. But also, having so much competition is fantastic in the sense that we get to see what they're doing. We get to see and learn from the mistakes they've made. So I think it's a really exciting space to work in. In terms of crypto payments is just changing rapidly, expanding rapidly. The demand for it is growing rapidly. Yeah, it's a very exciting space, and I think we're really well positioned in that space right now.
Right. So I think that was quite a bit of advantages that you guys have in the market space as well. So let's talk about looking forward into the future, right? We take a step back first. Let's talk about the past 6 months. The biggest achievements that Alchemy Pay has done in the last 6 months. Is there like big stuff that you can share with us?
Okay, I guess I'll take these questions. I think Rob has really mentioned earlier, in terms of these partnerships, what they can do for us, right? So I think a lot of our community members, I think a lot of people, this is a Huobi stream. So a lot of our community members and supporters, what they are very focused on are the exchange listings that we have, right? So we got ourselves listed on Binance, Coinbase, Bybit, WazirX, largest Indian crypto exchange, and other top local exchanges like Coincheck. Those are, to us, I think those are really fantastic milestones that we have secured. It wasn't easy getting ourselves listed on these exchanges, but what we are truly more excited about is building the fundamentals that allow us to truly drive the adoption of cryptocurrencies and Web3 services, right? So example of these fundamentals would be, for instance, building on our payment channels. This can be our fiat payment channels, right? For instance, recently we just announced a partnership with GreePay. Basically, they provide us with the UAE payment channels. We partner up with Peso, which is Philippines payment channels. Indonesian, we also partner with an Indonesian payment company, right? They provide us with OVO, Dana, bank transfer. So I could keep going on and on for this mobile wallet. Oh, one more thing to add is we recently just secured the partnership with, it's not yet announced, so I will not reveal the name, but we just secured the partnership, the largest card acquirer that is crypto friendly, right? So basically this is, this acquirer is the partner of all the top players in the market today, Coinbase, Binance, and they are very selective with their partners, but we have just secured a partnership with them, and we look forward to sharing this with you guys, with our community members. And another thing would be cryptocurrency payment partners as well. Rob mentioned Binance Pay, and we also have Crypto.com Pay coming up on board soon as well. So why is this important, right? So if you look into cryptocurrency payments today, a user, let's say a payer, right? I want to pay with Bitcoin. It is slow, right? A Bitcoin transaction takes 10 minutes to confirm. Ethereum, one block may take around 12 seconds or so, right? And it is first slow. It is expensive. As the payer, I have to pay the gas fees, so it doesn't make sense. So that's the reason why one of the big reasons we believe cryptocurrencies payment hasn't really been adopted. So we look forward to Binance Pay and Crypto.com Pay because they enable fast payments. They enable fast and cost-free payments to the payer, to the consumers, and we believe that this is going to build the kind of user behavior that will lead to more and more consumers around the world using cryptocurrency as a form of payments. And then moving on, we also have a partnership with remittance players, right? So Nium. Basically, Nium is the largest remittance player in Southeast Asia. We also partner with Payton in Europe to leverage their payment channels. Remittance channels. These remittance corridors are particularly important to us because Alchemy Pay, we want to work with merchants around the world, right, and payment companies around the world. In order for us to settle to them in their local fiat currency, we must be able to get the money to them, right? So Nium and Payton together, they are allowing us to send money to over 195 countries around the globe, right? This enables us to work with more partners around the world. And last but not least, partnership with blockchain players, right? We have in the last 6 months, we have partnered up with numerous layer one blockchain players, right? Some examples would be Polygon, Avalanche, Near, Algorand, Elrond, and many more, right? Why is this particularly important to us? Because many decentralized application developers are building on these networks. And Alchemy Pay, what we can do is to provide them with the fiat payment channels as well as our on-ramp services that connects the mainstream users to them, right? This would drive more usage of their services and spur sustainable growth for their projects. So these are some of the partnerships that I can think of that we are very excited about.
Right. So I think in the future there are ways where we can just use our credit cards to just interact directly with the D apps that's available in the Web3 space, right? So let's talk about the future now. I think there is quite a lot of things in stock for you guys, but I wouldn't mind if you guys can share what you can only reveal, because I think there are still NDAs that you cannot share certain things that is already on the roadmap. But I think it will help because I'm actually looking at, so sometimes when you look at me looking to the side, because I'm actually looking at the chat, you guys do have quite a lot of fans, and there are some people that says ACH to the moon, stuff like that. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you can share with all these audience on what they can look out for, or what they can anticipate from Alchemy Pay, in the next 6 months, or in the next 1 year, or in the next 2 to 3 years?
Okay, I'll start off with perhaps what they want to hear about. I guess, like in terms of exchange listings, we are definitely always looking to get ourselves listed on top exchanges, just like Huobi. So that is something that we are working on. Because I'm only sharing this because I'm sure this is what they want to hear. But in truth, we are always working on this, right? But more importantly, I mentioned earlier the fundamentals. We have been securing partnerships that leads to users being able to pay with cryptocurrencies. These are partnerships that we are very excited about. In the past, I would say in the past 3 months, 4 months, we have been working extremely hard on getting ourselves licenses. And just today, we are very excited to share that we have secured a license in the European region. Basically, this allows us to get even ability to target different markets within European region to deploy crypto payments and deploy our on-ramp services, right? And it is also because of these licenses that we secured, we are able to get to strike a partnership with the largest card acquirer that I mentioned earlier, right? So licenses to us is very important because number one, it reduces our cost price, right? It opens up the market that we can enter, and it reduces the cost price when we secure payment channels, right? Previously, before we get these payment channels directly from the largest card acquirer, we have to get it from, let's say, a third-party payment company, right? And then they have to take a cut out of it, right? It is the same old issue again. More middlemen, more cost. More cost to us, the more expenses that we provide to our end client, right? So we are going to be focusing on licenses, and as I mentioned, we have secured a European license just today. We will be in the months I would say in 2022 this year, we will be focusing on getting a couple more licenses. For instance, a MSO license, a money service operator license in Hong Kong. We are working with a partner to apply for a license in Indonesia, and we are also getting a license in the Philippines, right? So more of such license to come, and in the UK as well. So we invested in a company that is applying for EMI license in the UK. So these are all this takes time, right? But it is worth it. The truth is it makes a huge difference because it really lowers the cost to us, and it is going to be very apparent because, and I mentioned earlier, we want to focus on ramp. To us, we see it as really connecting the mainstream, the rest of the world, who's really not in the world of cryptocurrency, to help them get access to DeFi, get access to metaverse or NFT to NFTs, right? And in order for us to help them do that, we must be able to provide the fiat payment channels, and these licenses really help us lower the cost, right? So I would say fundamentally the partnerships or progress that our community can look forward to would be, our partnerships with payment companies, more payment companies to come, as well as really the licenses. I think in the next 1 to 2 months we really do have a lot more of this partnership to share, and we really look forward to making our investors and communities around the world happy.
Right. So there's actually a question from the it's more like a comment slash question, right? So this guy actually asked, is it hard to get these licenses? I would think that there's quite a lot of stuff involved, right? There's probably a lot of paperwork, a lot of admin work, probably some fees to pay as well. So just a gauge, like how long does it take you to actually acquire, let's say, averagely to get one license in a certain country? So like averagely, how long does it take you to acquire that from the start until getting that particular license?
Well, it typically takes around, I would say, 9 months, right? Some of them you could acquire for within 3 months, but chances are if you can get a license within 3 months, it's not one that is very impactful, meaning that you don't get new payment channels, or you don't get to enter a new market with this license, right? For instance, what the UK EMI that I mentioned, that would probably come towards the end of the year. That would take around 1 year, and it's not just you apply for it and you get it in 1 year's time, right? There's a lot of work in between. For instance, you have to act as an agent to acquire merchants, to show the regulators that you have the capability, you have the experience, you have the team members, you have the compliance team to be able to operate in the market, right? So it is a lot of proving, a lot of paperwork, and as well as money, right? The truth is the legal fees can pop up to be quite a lot of money, and you have to put up a deposit, right? Depending on the size of the transaction that you project to facilitate in the future, you have to put up maybe around 200k to 300 pounds for the EMI license. In Singapore, the PSA license is about 250,000 Singapore dollars that you have to put up with the MAS, right? So time consuming money, and really a lot of hard work behind this.
Right. So we answered that question. So licenses do take time. Good licenses take a lot of time, a lot more time, right? So I think we have time for just one more question. So what retail partners are there? So this person didn't specify a country, but since you started in Hong Kong and Singapore, are there like some retail partners that you can just name drop a few, so that people, if they are listening to this, they might want to go and like try out and see whether the payment actually works?
Right. So I think for offline might not be the best example. Maybe I can share something even more exciting. So we recently just partnered up with a power bank charging station manufacturer. So this manufacturer, what they do is they are also ensuring that payments. I actually do have one machine right next to me, but it's a bit far. Otherwise, I'll carry it over to show you guys. But basically, we just partnered with this player that distributes power bank charging stations, and they are in 9 markets. We are testing out this in Japan. So in Japan railway stations, as well as in France, there's going to be these power banks where users are able to use Binance Pay. So Alchemy Pay is powering the Binance Pay transactions and settling to them in their local fiat money. So look out to we'll be sharing the locations that of these machines, and then you guys could try out. And in terms of the name dropping, the merchants, I have to say that many of the times these merchants that we work with, we don't have a direct relationship with the merchant. As I mentioned, we work with the payment companies, we work with the merchant networks, right? We could so in Singapore, when it first launched, we partnered up with Celavi, we partnered up with Aldo, right? So a lot of these merchants were secured by myself personally. I had to go and meet up with their management to sign a deal, and we realized that was really the time where we realized that this doesn't make financial sense. It takes a lot of time for me to pitch to them. It takes a lot of time for me to train them. And I'm only getting one merchant, right? One by one. It's just too slow, right? That was when, COVID hit and we realized that this is not the way to go. We need to only work with merchant networks. It's the fastest and it makes the most financial sense, right? I'll just elaborate this just a little bit more, right? Can you imagine if I were to approach a merchant, right? I have to provide, let's say it's an offline merchant particularly, I have to provide them with a POS machine, right? Providing this POS machine means that number one, I need to purchase the POS machine. I need to deploy it. I need to maintain it. I need to teach the staff how to use it, right? Why not I leverage a payments company's operations team that already have this POS machine deployed. They are maintaining it for their existing use. They can simply integrate with us and add that crypto payments option in there. And then, we don't have to train it because they already have a team. So we are just leveraging on this partnerships where there are synergies.
Right. So I do agree with you that when it comes into investment, right, cost of sales is cost of revenue is one of the biggest player because you have to hire salespeople to be able to go and pitch and to close a client. But if you are just approaching through a network, I think it's a lot easier. Acceptance rate is going to be a lot higher as well. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I think hardware is one of the highest costs. If let's say you pre-ordered so many hardware and then if you don't get to use them, they're just probably going to sit somewhere. They're probably going to start spoiling as well. So thank you guys so much for having to come on to the show. I think we are just about hitting 9. We are almost running out of time. I think what we can do last is maybe tell new people that are interested in Alchemy Pay. Where can they find out more about you guys? And what are your socials, or where can they find updated news that is coming up in the roadmap for 2022? Is there like a Telegram or Twitter?
Robert, maybe you can.
Yeah, we have Telegram. The Telegram chat is Alchemy Pay official. We also have www.alchemypay.org is our website, but there is a new website that is on the way, as we said. And yet Twitter is Alchemy Pay.
Right. So is your website going to change or is the domain just staying the same, just a revamp of the UI?
Oh, the domain name will remain the same, yeah. But the website, the new website is coming, yeah. And that'll have a lot more explanation about the solutions we provide, yeah.
Right. Can't wait to see that, man. I mean, when you share the roadmap, it's kind of exciting already. I do hope that you guys do get the EMI license. I think that will help you guys quite a bit. So once again, thank you guys for taking time out to speak to me on Huobi Live. I really, really appreciate it. If there's any other questions, I think these guys know where to find you through the social. So once again, thanks, Robert. Thanks, John. Much, Jorden. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Jorden.
Pleasure.
Right, pleasure to be sharing all this with the community, and thank you so much for having us.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. Pleasure's mine.
All right.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.